Hello, my name is Lars Klevberg.
My name is Mark Hamill.
My name is Aubrey Plaza.
My name is Gabriel Bateman.
Brian Tyree Henry.
Mark, what kind of decisions went into deciding on the particular voice for Chucky? To get the right tone and to even distinguish him from what Brad did in the original,
Right.
And even your other villainous roles.
Well, I got a letter from Lars, and he already laid out his vision for the film before I had read it, and then they sent me the script, and I thought the crucial element that was different from the original, which I love, and I'm a huge fan of Brad's interpretation, but in this one, Chucky has a different origin, so it's not the soul of a serial killer that someone deliberately goes in and alters his operating system and takes off the safety measures. So he was really like an innocent child, really just learning from what goes on around him. But that was crucial. Also, the age of the boys, instead of being like 5 or 6, Gabriel plays a character. He's a young teenager, and that was I thought a fundamental difference from the original. And he does an amazing job. I have to say, when I read it, I said, if they don't find the right actor to play Andy, the whole thing falls apart because you see it through his eyes. And wait till you see this guy. I mean, he is spectacular. He's so authentic, so genuine and sympathetic that it's really unfortunate you got such a messed up toy.
Hi, my question is for Lars and Mark. For Lars, what sort of direction did you give Bear McCreary to create the score? And for Mark, how long did it take you to learn the song?
Yeah, the song. So the one reporter earlier said that he had suggestion to deliver it as an original Oscar song. I think it was a great idea, actually. For the score for this, we got Bear McCreary on board, and I talked to him. We just talked general ideas and how I would like to have the soundscape kind of be. He left a couple of days after I talked to him, and I just checked on him and said, okay, how's it going? Like I'm shopping instruments, like all these crazy small instruments, and he showed me some pictures. I'm like, I've never seen those before. And then he came back and he presented to me, and we talked more, and then he kind of left a couple of days more, and then he came back with this almost like the score, the theme of the movie, and I was just blown away. It was such an iconic voice from Bear, and he used all these strange small instruments, and we talked about doing it in a small scale with a personal touch, and he came back with this, and I'm blown away how he achieved it, to be honest.
And Mark, how long did it take you to learn the song?
Well, early on we were doing, we had a placeholder. I was singing it to the tune of "You Are My Sunshine," and so I sort of got used to that. And then Bear sent me the disc with his song on it. And first of all, I thought, oh my God, this is like Rosemary's Baby lullaby good, where it works authentically, but it sort of creeps you out in a way. And then I do a lot of voiceover, so I was going into the valley from Malibu, and I listened to it 18 times on the way over, and I think 22 times on the way home because there was traffic. It bore into my head like an earwig. I'll never be able to get it out of my head as long as I live, but I thought Brer did just a great job.
Hi. My question is for Mark Hamill. Did you get to see the film before you were brought on board to do the voiceover? Because I know it was screened a couple times. No,
I just read the script and Lars's letter. And like I say, I got excited because I thought it justified. I guess there's a difference between a remake and a reboot. But like I say, the fundamental differences were the character of Chucky and the character of Andy. So I was very excited to do it.
My question is for Aubrey. You play a mom of a teen. I think this may be the first time for you.
Yes, it is.
So I was wondering what that experience was like. And also for each of you, what are your personal thoughts on electronics like Alexa and and Siri? I mean,
My appliances all hate me.
Well, when I read the script, I was actually really excited about the idea of playing a young mom, because in real life, my mom is a young mom. She had me when she was 20, and the age difference between the characters in the script was the exact age difference of my mom and me, and so I found a lot of kind of connections with that character, and I thought maybe it's time to just birth a child on screen and just give it a whirl, let those maternal instincts come to the surface and just show another side of me. And what a dilemma for Karen, in this film. The stakes are very high when a tiny robot's trying to murder your child.
You're doing it all on your
What a
own.
challenge. What an acting challenge.
I have a child Aubrey's age. So
Thank you. Oh, and I hate Alexa and Siri and all technology.
My question's for Aubrey, Gabriel, and Brian.
Oh.
Hi. What was it like working with the doll?
Well, they had, I think, 9 or 11 different animatronic dolls that could make facial expressions and move, and all of them had different purposes. So it was actually really helpful to have something to play off of instead of just like a tennis ball or a piece of tape. So yeah, I definitely appreciated it.
I never got to see the doll, actually. Like, my whole experience was with him. Like, the whole thing is that I actually never see the doll. I actually think that Andy's a part of it, but that doesn't change the fact that the doll was always on set. So, like, the fact that they got to act with the doll and I had to sit alone with it without it acting was actually the worst experience I had ever had. So, in essence, I'm actually glad that I didn't have anything to do with the doll because, like, it's so detailed. Like, the jaw moves, the eyes open, there's teeth, which is just, I can't. But, like, my interaction was literally with a human being, with Gabriel, which was an amazing time. Like, I learned a lot from this kid. I cannot believe I'm saying this in front of you. But, like, he's, like, absolutely, like, remarkable. So I'm really glad that all the things that I actually had to do were with a human being, like Gabriel.
Hi, this is a question for Lars. There's an amazing scene in this film where Chucky learns some weird lessons about violence by watching some kids laugh at, I think it's Texas Chainsaw 2. And it's happening in a film that has some incredibly violent scenes that are kind of played for laughs in a little bit. I was wondering what you were hoping to achieve with that scene and how you think it plays amongst the argument about sort of violence in these kind of films.
It's in the script. It was really like they're watching a cheesy 80 horror movie. So when we were going into it, we get presented some ideas from the studio, like moves you can do, screen there, and Texas Chainsaw 2 was one of them, and it worked out pretty good. There's a scene there where they hold up one of the skinned face, and I didn't remember that before we start cutting it in. I was like, dude, this is amazing. We can actually use that in foreshadowing what Chucky's learning. And it ended up pretty good, actually, for the people that watched it and can backtrack a little bit. No, it's not about, for me, in this movie, it has no commentary about like the violence in movies. It's more about how a free spirit, self-aware entity or person doll changed by adapting to his surroundings. So it's kind of 1 + 1 when you see they're laughing at the violence and you see the violence and you just want to do what makes them happy.
Hi, this is for Mark. This is the kind of role you could have played completely campy if you chose to, but there's almost a poignancy to the way that you voice Chucky, and I'm curious, like, how you found that right sort of level with him, and were there any particular influences? Because I know you're an encyclopedia of animation voice actors. So was there anything that kind of inspired you?
We always try and be guided by the script. Now, I had Lars and 3 producers that were all together, and it was a really sort of open collaboration because they would I'd try and do maybe 5 in a row do slightly different nuances. There was the interesting thing is to see it assembled and what choices they made, because he pretty much stays innocent throughout the film. I mean, early on we were doing things, if I can't be your friend, then nobody can. And I do a big shift, but it was too early, you know. But I would try and give them, it's really like giving them jigsaw puzzle pieces that they can assemble later to their liking. So it was basically trying to, they held my hand through the process because obviously they know what they want much better than I did. But like I say, I love challenges. It was so much fun to do it. And, you know, I was so impressed with, like I saw the film over and 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 over. And everyone, it's just pitch perfect in terms of the casting and the performances as far as I'm concerned. So I lucked out in that regard.
Anyone have a question? Hi, to the panel. There is this sense of 80s nostalgia, E.T., kind of, I don't know, maybe kind of Spielberg too. And now that we live in times of coming back to Stephen King and all of that. So you have a comment about it, and Gabriel told me that you gave him some movies to see, to be part of the mood. So can you comment about it?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of like old movies coming back, being remade this time, and you know, I think the term Amblin feel is a little bit washed out these days. But for me, it's all come from the script, and you know, people think of Amblin 80s like this a visual trademark, but for me, it's dealing with like troubled humans, blue collar humans experiencing something magical and forcing a relationship with something, a new entity or a friend, and through that you can open up their emotional world. And for me, reading the script, I kind of had a lot of references from E.T. I pitched this as E.T. on acid for the studio, and it kind of summed it all up. But you know, you never want to kind of do one-to-one, or you just want to find, okay, I feel some sort of movies that meant a lot for me when I was younger, and I should kind of see what the reason why I love them. And that was more than E.T., but it's a little bit of 80s vibe, but it's mostly terms of how I would like to present Andy and Chucky and the relationship between them. And yeah, and for Gabriel, was it you that watched movies?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, you gave me a list.
Who was that? What movies was it again?
It was E.T., the original Child's Play, Gremlins, and a film called Attack the Block.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It is, and those are, and together with the Swedish, Let the Right One In, which I think is a masterpiece. Yeah. So
I'm pretty
those
sure
are
you gave me the movie Mommy.
Yes, I did.
You gave me nothing, Lars.
No.
Which is fine. I mean, like, I was like, I know Child's Play. I don't need you to. I got Child's Play.
Yeah.
No.
Sorry, man.
So I need another reason to get a Mark Hamill autograph. So are those toys in production for? Like, was the design? Did you guys keep in mind about creating Chucky dolls in the future? Like, you know, there's a line of the older ones. And
Creating dolls at this stage, I think we didn't think of the future at all, to be honest. There was a lot of hard work to get this all right from the beginning. But I believe that there's some being made, yes. That some people can try to.
Are you making those bears that come in?
I know, the bears are
at
cool,
the end
right?
of the movie, I went, oh no. They're not going to open their mouths like it with teeth coming out, are they? It's very restrained, as a matter of fact.
There will be products, but the cool thing about this experience and this kind of the universe is that the fan base, the old one and the new ones, they're so kind of into it. So they kind of people making it themselves, like buddy dolls and cast and projects. It's just amazing.
Hello. 2 questions. Who came up with the Toy Story marketing campaign for this movie? And the second question is, for each one on the panel, what's your favorite slasher movie or slasher character?
I think for the marketing, that has to be the producers can talk about. I think the producer and the studio.
There they are.
They're
in the back of the room. Raise your hands, fellas. Oh,
the guys who are looking back,
yeah.
Those are the guys.
Because on Twitter, I got blamed for it, from Toy Story fans. They said, are you doing this? I just had to say, not me. I mean, I think it's brilliant and very tongue-in-cheek, and it conveys the humor of the movie in a way that is spectacular and unique.
In terms of the other horror movies, I don't know. For me, and I think about 80 horror movie. I think the remake, The Blob, is one that's high up there.
88 one, the one in the 80s.
Yeah,
I fucking love that.
That's
movie.
the best. That's like
it's one of my.
I know it is, right?
It's so good.
It's crazy.
It's so good.
Yeah, it is. It's that if.
Yeah, like when it falls down and then the skin melts off, I was like, that is fucked up.
No, I'm old school. I like the original Psycho because it was the only movie I remember my parents getting home from seeing it, and they were scared. I'd never seen my dad like that before, so I waited about another 10 years because but it's amazing, that film. It's, I think, perfectly made.
Yeah, I'm not a big slasher movie fan. I don't want to watch people get stabbed, and I don't want to be stabbed. And
But you don't mind like pretending to stab people all the time?
No, not at all. But I go for more of the psychological horrors, like Misery, that kind of thing. Something that could really happen. That's scary to me.
This couldn't happen?
All right, like it could happen.
I've got a blender that begs to differ.
I don't watch that much horror, but the first thing that comes to mind is The Shining. It's one of the first horror films I watched. So, yeah, probably that.
For me, Candyman. It destroyed my entire
Tony Todd is awesome.
Todd is a beast.
Yeah.
And now like just the voice, and I was like, I went to school disheveled for like months because I was afraid to look in the mirror. So like I was like, I don't care, I'm not going in the bathroom.
Yeah,
and I was like, and he's black. It's like, he's black, and I had never seen anything like that before. But yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, like Chucky was one of my favorites too, because like I was still a child at that time when it came out, and like most horror movies were adults getting messed up, but then you've got this kid who has a toy, and toys are important to you as a child, but like I didn't care about toys after that movie. Like
There's something about creepy toys. There was a Twilight Zone in '63. I was too young to see it in prime time, but in the summer, I got to stay up late and watch Twilight Zone. It was called Living Doll, and Telly Savalas was sort of the abusive husband, and there was a doll called Talkie Tina, which was a takeoff on Chatty Cathy. June Foray did the voice. And the most chilling line in it, because, when no other people are around, Talkie Tina, instead of saying, "My name's Talkie Tina, and I love you very much," she says to Telly Savalas, "My name's Talkie Tina, and I'm going to kill you." I thought, holy moly. Yeah, I mean, that was pretty much the height of horror. I mean, she didn't go on a rampage like Chucky, but I thought, this is a genius idea. I mean, there were other Twilight Zones that had malevolent ventriloquist dolls that were really alive, or another one with Jackie Cooper where it was a variation on a theme. But there's something about it. And you were in Annabelle, right? Another scary doll movie.
Yeah, that was I think my first everything I filmed, first or second. Yeah, I was in like one.
And you're making movies that you're not allowed to go see.
Yeah.
Because they're rated R.
Right.
I watched Annabelle with my eyes closed. I was like 9 at the time, so I was.
Yeah, I have people on Twitter saying, "Look, I love you, Mark, but I'm sorry, I just can't do horror." One person even said, "I'll buy a ticket, but I won't watch it."
My family, that's all my
fan,
family.
right?
All my family is like, "Yeah, we'll get a ticket." I'm like, "You're not gonna go and watch?"
Right.
They're like, "No, absolutely not." Not really support.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be the last question.
Mark, there was a lot of excitement when you were announced as the voice of Chucky, whether it's your legacy or even in the trades. We're in a business essentially in Hollywood, and you're associated with a franchise that made bajillions of dollars. Do you feel like a hot commodity?
No. I would tell you the truth is that when I agreed to it and it sunk in that they wanted me to do this, I felt intimidation like I hadn't felt since I did the Joker. Because when I did the Joker, it was off after the backlash of people being mad that before they even saw him, Michael Keaton's a comedy actor, he can't play Batman before. And so I thought when I auditioned for the Joker, there's no way they're going to cast this icon of virtue. Luke Skywalker is the Joker, forget about it. So I had no performance anxiety because I knew they couldn't hire me. It was only when they hired me that I really thought, oh no, I can't do this, because so many people have expectations of what he's supposed to sound like. But I didn't feel that kind of intimidation until it sunk in that I was doing this, because, the originals have such partisan following, and there's, people that saying, oh, you can't touch this, you're no Brad Dourif, which I agree. I love Brad, but it's a great responsibility, so I'm anxious to see how people react, because it's not the Chucky that we all know from before.
All right. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey